So amid growing concerns tonight, the White House reportedly considering a plan to suspend all direct flights to and from mainland China. Joining us now, Fox News contributor Leslie Marshall and host of The Next Revolution right here on Fox News, Steve Hilton. Welcome to both of you.
Hi, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Okay, so I want to, this is a quote from an ex-FDA chief about this. He worries that China could be underestimating coronavirus cases by tens of thousands. His quote, "I think we're dramatically underestimating cases in China by tens of thousands. I think the Chinese haven't been fully sharing." Steve, what's your take?
Well, I think that tends to be true in these cases where the symptoms are often flu-like symptoms that in the first instance that people tend not to go to the doctor with anyway. So that could also be true here in America. But I think the point I think we should all remember is that actually, well, there's two things I think we should focus on. First of all, the response here seems to be exactly the right kind of level. In other words, very serious. And I think the president is right there. We do have great agencies. We do have great expertise. There is a kind of playbook for how to deal with this. Unfortunately, you can't be sure yet whether that's going to work because they're all unpredictable. It'll probably be weeks until we really know whether this is going to be contained like SARS was, the last big one, or whether actually it's going to be something much more frightening. But we also need to think about the cause. All of these viruses that cause so much devastation, both human and financial, around the world over the last few decades, they've all come from China. They've all been caused by their practices in terms of how they handle animals and so on. They all originate there. And that is a big question we should be focusing on too.
Yeah, because there's been talk about the animal to human transmission and now more and more these human to human transmission cases. Just to give some stats there, I want to put this up so people can have a reference. The corona and flu virus comparisons this year. This year on the coronavirus, 170 deaths in China, 7,711 cases that we know about in China. Now, flu this season, 8,200 deaths in the U.S. alone, more than 15 million cases. Leslie, just to give us a little bit of perspective there, you know, it's hard to know in these early days exactly what the truth is, how far it's going to spread, and how you can stop it.
Oh, there's so many things here, and I agree with everything Steve said so far. Look, there was something that I retweeted today, which is be more concerned about the flu than the coronavirus. We have a lot of people in the United States who don't get flu shots, and my husband, who's not huge into vaccines, says you got to get the flu shot. But it goes even further. When we look at China, it's filthy. And when we talk about filthy, when we have filthy air or filthy water, when we don't respect the environment and keep it clean, these things feed into this. In addition to that, we feed into that with what we feed ourselves in our bodies. My husband and I have spoken about this. You guys know he's a physician. And he said, look, when we're treating our animals and eating animals that are treated with antibiotics or with hormones, we're messing up our immune systems. Our immune systems should be strong enough to fight these viruses. But between our environment and what we're eating and how we're processing our food, and we don't know where it's coming from or what's happening to it and how it gets here, and this is a big problem. And this is why they'll come up with vaccines, and then there's a new strain of flu or a new strain of a virus that can't be contained. And that's right now, while doctors worldwide, World Health Organization, are struggling to find a vaccine for this.
Well, and Senator Tom Cotton saying this, it appears that this coronavirus has a long incubation period, and asymptomatic persons may be able to transmit the virus. Given these dangerous circumstances, a targeted travel ban is warranted to protect Americans until we know more about the virus and the outbreak is under control. What do you think, Steve?
Yeah, I agree with that. I just want to say how strongly I also agree with everything Leslie just said, broadening it out to our whole approach to food. I really agree with that. It's a big issue, and I think we should talk about it more, not just at these times of crisis. I think the senator's right. I think there's, you can't be too cautious here. I think the point is you've got to try and clamp down on the spread of something like this in these early days when you've still got a chance of trying to limit it. And so drastic action like stopping travel, I think, is definitely warranted right at this moment and for the next few weeks.
Yeah, and there are cases around Europe as well, here in the U.S. And beyond, so we'll continue to monitor it. Thank you both for coming to talk about something relatively apolitical tonight. Leslie and Steve, good to see you both.
Good to see you, Shannon. Thank you.
Thanks, Shannon.